Hello, everyone. Welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you. This is a live stream for the publication roadmap. I have a special guest here today, Fatemeh Akbarpour. I'm about to introduce her. First, I want to do a quick introduction of myself because there's a lot of new people joining right now. So my name is Rhanderson Cardoso. I'm a cardiologist in the United States. I'm a foreign medical graduate originally from Brazil. And then I came to the US for training. I did internal medicine first. I was a chief resident, then cardiology fellow at Johns Hopkins. And now I'm an attending at Harvard Medical School. I'm a cardiologist here in Boston. And what we discussed today is not affiliated with these institutions. The opinions here are my own. Same thing for Fatemeh. And I also want to remind everyone that we're doing this special session as a warm-up for the publication roadmap. That'll be this Saturday and Sunday at this exact same time, 7 a.m. New York and midday London time. Okay, so make sure you guys should tune in for the publication roadmap this Saturday and Sunday. Watch it live. The recording will be available for a few hours, but we do want you to watch it live if you can. So with that introduction, I also want to bring in Fatemeh here. Fatemeh, thank you so much for joining. You know that I'm a huge fan, and I've been so excited about your great results and publications. And tell us a little bit first where you're from and what's your background, what level of current level of training you're in. Can you share a little bit about yourself, please?
Hi, Dr. Anderson. Thank you very much for inviting me here today. It's a pleasure of mine to be here. I am a sixth year, actually, medical student in Dubai, UAE, which is in my medical school, the internship year. Actually, currently wrapping up my internal medicine rotation. And I have joined the Meta-Analysis Academy. I think it's in its fourth edition, quite early on. And I found the course to be very helpful and the team to be very supportive. And I've been engaged with them ever since with great results, to be honest. I did not expect to get this many results in terms of abstracts and publications. So I'm really pleased.
That's awesome. Fatemeh, you're about to graduate. I suppose medical school in the UAE is 6 years. Is that right?
Yes, yes,
Good.
correct.
Are you excited about that, about graduation?
I'm excited and a bit scared as well, but let's see.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, so, Fatemeh, tell me a little bit about your struggles with research earlier on in medical school. You said that you've had all these publications after you joined the Meta-Analysis Academy,
Mhm.
but let's go back in time a little and talk about sort of the difficulties that you faced. I can sort of anticipate some of them, but I want to hear from you. Like, what was it like trying to get research done as a medical student in Dubai?
So I want to give kind of a kudos or a heads up to our university. They have like a research course that is integrated into our curriculum. So research is quite emphasized a lot from the first semester that we joined the university. So the teaching aspect, so they teach us about the different types of research and all of these things. But to be honest, the only thing that they did not focus on was systematic reviews and meta-analysis. It was up to us to kind of learn about how to do systematic reviews and meta-analyses. And to be fair, from the second or third year, I started getting stressed about research because we do have to do a dissertation project at the end of the third year of medical school, which I chose to do in a lab-based, or I chose to do a lab-based project for that. So that was fine. That got published, but it was very stressful. These things take a long time, and as many people know, if you want to get into a competitive residency or residency in the US or whatever, you need to have quite a few publications, quite a lot actually. And you can't achieve that with just lab-based research or cohort studies, which I have participated in a few, to be honest. But these take quite a long period of time to get to the publication stage. So I've also been involved in a couple of case reports, but as many people know, these are not very high impact, but they're kind of fun to get engaged in as a medical student. But the most high impact, as Dr. Anderson probably emphasized on, are the systematic reviews and meta-analysis. There, if you know anything about the evidence pyramid, it's right at the top. So I feel like learning these skills from the meta-analysis course really just gave me the independence to conduct my own research without the headache of an IRB, which is with even with case reports, you do need to obtain an IRB, and it can be a headache. And also, you get to investigate underexplored areas, which is something that I quite enjoyed doing with my meta-analyses,
Yeah,
answered
this,
questions.
yeah, that's a perfect answer. There's so much to unpack there. I want to start with showing the results. So everyone heard from Fatemeh that about the importance of meta-analysis. We'll go over that in a little bit again, but I just want to show you a very practical example of this. So, guys, this is a publication by Fatemeh herself. She's first author. And this is one of the top journals in the world. This is probably the highest ranking journal in the world in pediatric surgery. It's called Journal of Pediatric Surgery. And in this publication, Fatemeh and her group of collaborators, they published on children with appendicitis. As you can imagine, it's hard to recruit patients with appendicitis, children with appendicitis, for clinical trials. They are a special population. You need parent consent. So it's really tough. But the key to this publication is that Fatemeh and her group, they didn't do that primary work of recruiting patients and enrolling patients directly. They did a systematic review and meta-analysis. So there's 814 children in the study, but none of them are from the UAE, where Fatemeh is from. Well, they may be, but they're not from her institution. This patients in a meta-analysis, those patients are going to be from all over the world. That's a very important concept to understand. The patients are from the United States, from Canada, from Germany, from Asia, from London, from all over the world. And that gives you the autonomy that Fatemeh was talking about, because you don't need an ethics board approval. You don't need to review data from charts. So you don't need anything from your university. You learn how to do research with autonomy. But you also learn how to do research with impact. That's another point that Fatemeh highlighted. Meta-analyses are at the very top of the pyramid of evidence. So instead of spending time doing like case reports, which are very, very low value, you guys could do impactful research like this. And that's what we're going to show you in the publication roadmap. That's why it's super important for you guys to join on Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m. New York and midday London time. Fatemeh, it's interesting that you point out that highlight between basic research, lab research, bench research, and meta-analysis. And one of those highlights is the time. You mentioned that. How long did it take you to do a meta-analysis such as this one here? How long did it take you to publish or to do a paper at this level with nearly 1,000 patients?
Around 3 to 4 months. But to be fair, the fastest abstract I created was within a week. So it depends. Honestly, some projects you can create really quickly, depending on how many studies you're looking at. So yeah, it's honestly a game changer. And even if you see people who got into really competitive residencies, most of if they're going to publish 100 or 200, that's not going to be all cohort studies or something. It's mainly systematic reviews and meta-analyses which are high impact. So
Yeah.
that's what really gets them the spots.
That's a perfect point. So see, this is one of the first projects that Fatemeh did, guys, and it took her about 12 to 15 weeks to do that paper. When you do a meta-analysis, and then as you get better and better over time, uh, you can do it even as fast as 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. So it's much, much faster than waiting years, or at the very least months, for lab experiments or for recruiting the patients. So it's much faster than any other type of research. That's another important point. And then Fatemeh mentioned, like, we have a lot of students in the Meta-Analysis Academy who have been successful in their career goals of residency and match by doing meta-analysis. This is an example of one of them. Gabriella, also interested in surgery like Fatemeh. Gabriella is now a second-year surgical resident at Harvard Medical School in Boston, in the United States, at Beth Israel. And she's an international graduate, but she published a lot of meta-analysis to join our program. She published this paper in the American Surgeon, a good surgical journal. So you guys, again, my recommendation is to join the roadmap, watch it live so you can kick off your journey in learning how to do these meta-analysis. All right. Now, Fatemeh, there's a great question here from Sudarshan, how to form a team. And then I'm going to go over to your paper again. And you mentioned the level of autonomy where you learn how to do all these steps. You learn how to do the statistics, the writing, the methods, the idea. But still, like if we look at the publication, you will see that you actually have co-authors here, Karen, Barbara, and many others here. So Rasha, Victor. So tell us about why to work in a group like this one, a good group like this one, if you have the skills of doing it yourself, if you have the autonomy, and then we'll also connect with how is it that you connected with these people and formed this strong research group?
I mean, technically, you can do a meta-analysis or a systematic review with two people. That's enough because two people have to go through all the different aspects of the systematic review and meta-analysis. But it always helps to have different people getting different perspectives. And the most important one is it's important to get a senior. The senior on that paper was a pediatric surgeon that I was working with during my rotation. So I just spoke to him and told him, I've got this idea. Would you like to join in? And he was really happy to join in. The rest of them are a mix of people from the Meta-Analysis Academy, and that's great. That's one major strength of the academies, that you meet people who are also learning about it or are even experts in meta-analyses and can work with them. And some of them are just my colleagues in university who are interested in joining research projects. So I just joined them and they learned a bit about meta-analyses as well. So, yeah.
That's perfect. So guys, the main advantage to doing this in a group is that you're able to do it faster. You have more hands on deck. But still, the first author, in this case Fatemeh, is the captain of that ship. So the first author is the one who typically has the idea, who takes on the leadership, who does most of the work, who assigns tasks, who follows up with people. So doing this is a critical component of advancing your own projects. Is leading, having good ideas, moving them forward. That's where the autonomy comes in. The autonomy means you don't depend on anyone specifically. You have all the skills in you, but it doesn't mean you should necessarily do it alone, because there's multiple advantages of doing it in a group. Remember that these folks, like in this case, Karen and Barbara and others, when they do their own projects, remember they were invited by Fatemeh to collaborate here. They're probably going to invite her and extend an invitation because she helped them, because it was great to work with her. So you extend your network of collaboration, and this really, really helps you also, so that you get not only the publications, but you get a strong network of collaborators. That's one advantage of working in a research group, is just that you can do things faster and better when you have good people working with you. And then also notice that Fatemeh invited one of her attendings, one of her consultants or professors, who is a surgeon. Is that right, Fatemeh, in your university? Is that correct?
Yes. He's a surgeon in one of the hospitals we work in or rotate in.
So that's a critical position in a paper. It's the senior author, the person who is the most experienced, you could say, or who is a specialist already. Because Fatemeh, remember everyone, if you join late, Fatemeh is a medical student. And she's a 6-year medical student in Dubai, and she published at the Journal of Pediatric Surgery, a really top journal in the world in surgical and pediatric surgery. So, but she invited one of her attendings to be senior. And this really, really strengthens your network again by people who are senior to you. So this may be helpful later in getting letters of recommendation and having a strong reputation locally. In this case, Fatemeh invited someone at her medical school, but sometimes you can even invite people abroad because the research is yours. Like, you're the leader, you have the data, you know the statistics. So you can invite people even from other institutions to collaborate. And the final point I'll highlight from Fatemeh's talk is or from her answer is that a lot of these students or collaborators she met inside the Meta-Analysis Academy. I know Barbara, for example, probably Victor, Ocilio as well. So these are students that she met inside the Meta-Analysis Academy. And that's a great place to form these pairs, these network, because you will find really like-minded people, good people who will be supportive of your work. Fatemeh, how did you meet them specifically? Was it through the experts program or just through their groups that we formed, or you connected them in the tutoring sessions? How did you connect with these folks specifically?
I think it was I shared my idea on some group. I really can't remember which one, and they reached out to me. I
Gotcha.
don't believe so. I can't remember specifically how I. It was through one of the WhatsApp groups.
Great. Awesome. That's extraordinary. So that's how you make these connections. That's how you build these connections, guys. It's by doing the work, inviting other people, obviously doing a good work, doing great work. Fatemeh, what was your reaction when you got this paper accepted? Like this is like probably the top journal in the world in pediatric surgery. You're still in medical school. Like, what did it feel like?
Yeah, so I was really excited. I got initially like a major revision, and I thought that meant like something really bad. But the reviewers were really nice, to be honest, and I think within a few weeks it was accepted. So it was really really exciting. I was actually going to a conference for another abstract, so
Nice.
I was excited that that one got published.
That's exciting. Yeah. I remember my first papers getting published. Like it was such an adrenaline rush when you get that email, your
Yeah.
paper's accepted for publications. It's pretty incredible. Fatemeh, folks asked here if we have to pay a fee to publish in journals. Like I'll explain to them in a little bit about open access versus not open access. Was this a journal that you had to pay anything to publish
No,
in or not?
I didn't pay a single penny for this.
All right. So that's a key concept, guys. For most papers in the Meta-Analysis Academy that our students publish, you don't have to pay anything. And the reason for this is that these are not open access journals. These are journals that don't charge the authors, they charge the subscribers, whether university or individuals. So like if I try to access this, like I might have to pay a fee or go through my university. Yeah. So, but Fatemeh, as the authors of this paper, they didn't have to pay anything to publish. And if you guys want to learn how to do this, this is one of the things that I'm going to explain in the publication roadmap. Again, that's this Saturday and Sunday at midday, this exact time, London time, 7 a.m. New York. So don't miss it. Watch it live. Fatemeh, I know you've made some great connections, even locally. I saw papers with you with Jonathan and others. What's next in your career? Like you're doing so well now. How many publications do you have at this point?
I didn't count them. I don't know. Something like 10, 12. I honestly don't know. I need to check.
That's incredible. And Fatemeh joined the program about 2 years ago, guys. So about 2 years ago, in less than 2 years, she's accumulated about 10 publications. So it's pretty impressive, including the one I showed you, but she also has others. The one I just showed you is a really special one because she's first author in the Journal of Pediatric Surgery. Really strong journal in that field. Fatemeh, there's another great question in the chat here. We'll train you guys. Actually, day one of the publication roadmap is going to be on how to generate great research ideas, guys. And I'm going to ask Fatemeh this question from Ali. Hey, Fatemeh, you're a medical student, yet you're not a doctor. You're still a medical student. You're not a doctor yet. You're not a pediatric surgeon yet. How in the world is it possible that you had this idea on the management and treatment of appendicitis in children?
So I was actually trying to. It was like an exercise to try to generate ideas in the Meta-Analysis Academy. Actually
No,
came up.
really?
Yeah.
It came from an
Yes.
exercise? Wow.
No. As in, like, it was an exercise, and they
Yeah.
were asking us to actually think about ideas. And then I think I spoke, that's another good thing. I think I spoke with a pediatric surgeon. I dealt with two pediatric surgeons. It's rare to find them, to be honest. They're hyper specialized. So I think I spoke to him, and he had this idea about another pediatric surgeon, not the one that I involved in this paper. So I spoke to him and everything, and then he got busy or I couldn't reach out to him. And then I started looking for papers in that field. I found the paper. I generated the P code from the paper, like just identified it, and then I just tried to find other studies. That's it. That's how I got the idea, to be honest.
Right.
So it's just from speaking to the pediatric surgeon. I think it's really good to talk to them because they're experts on the guidelines in that field, so they know what's kind of missing in terms of the guidelines or where there's a gap that you can fill.
Yeah.
That's one thing.
Yeah. Absolutely. So we'll train you guys on how to develop these research ideas, okay? We'll do this on day one of the publication roadmap. It's going to be our first talk this Saturday, everyone, at midday London time, and that's 7 a.m. New York, and that's 3 p.m. in Dubai, where Fatemeh is from. Good. So Fatemeh, I was asking about future steps in your career. Again, with these publications and really strong CV, you'll be able to have an extraordinary career wherever it is that you decide to do it. Are you able to share some plans or some thoughts in mind about the next steps in your career after you graduate?
Yeah, I'm hoping to apply for general surgery residency, hopefully in the US. But I'm keeping my options open, to be honest. I'm not hell bent on general surgery, but let's see let's see where I go.
Yeah, it's obviously a challenging specialty, not only to match into, but also
Yeah,
the residency itself. But
yeah, it's
obviously,
very challenging.
if you decide to do it, I'm 100% sure you'll be very successful as you have been as a medical student so far. So that's it, guys. What an incredible story from Fatemeh here. If you guys joined late, Fatemeh is a medical student. She's from Dubai, the UAE, and she's published a lot of papers now after joining the Meta-Analysis Academy. And I'm going to explain all the details on how you guys can do the same in our publication roadmap. That's this Saturday and Sunday at 12 p.m. London time. So make sure you guys watch that. Make sure you watch it live. Truly inspiring story from Fatemeh. We talked a lot about papers and publications. I showed everyone this, and Fatemeh has others. She said she has about 10, everyone. But Fatemeh, I also wanted to ask you about conference presentations. What are some of the conferences that you've presented your work, your meta-analysis in so far?
I've got one presented in the Surgical Research Society, which is the sister society of. So Surgical Research Society is the sister society of the Academic Surgical Society, something like that, in the US. So that's like the UK version. So that was in Cambridge this year. Cambridge, UK, not Cambridge, US. And then something that I'm really excited about and hopefully I can go to is the ACS Congress this year. So I did submit an abstract and it got accepted. So I'm really looking forward to going to the American College of Surgeons Congress in Chicago.
Chicago. When is that?
October 4th to 7th, I believe.
Oh, right around the corner. That's awesome.
Yeah. So hopefully.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's going to be your first conference, like in the US?
In the US, yes. It's my first time in the US as a whole, so it's going to be an experience.
Let me know if you end up stopping in Boston. It'd be great to meet you in person. Okay?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, everyone. So that's it. That's a beautiful story from Fatemeh, from the early days of medical school. We didn't even talk about this. Fatemeh sounds like she had a great experience in research with training in her medical school. But that's not the reality for a lot of you guys from different countries. It's usually, most people will say that it's a real struggle, finding mentors, finding good research ideas and projects in your medical schools, and just connecting with others, learning the skills. But when you learn meta-analysis, as Fatemeh said, you can gain the skills to publish impactful research with autonomy. That's a key word. That's what we're going to teach you in the publication roadmap. We're going to teach you how to develop ideas, the step-by-step process. So again, invite your friends, reserve the time in your schedule on Saturday and Sunday, watch it live. There will be an exercise. You guys will do an exercise so that you can foster the development of these ideas. And Fatemeh, I really want to thank you for coming on, for sharing your experience. I've said this before, but I'm a huge fan. I'm really glad to have you on the team. You've been such an inspiration to all of us. I cite your examples all the time because you've done extraordinarily well. And you're also going to be a tutor in this edition, so I'm very excited about that. Fatemeh is going to be a tutor in this edition of the Meta-Analysis Academy. So Fatemeh, thank you so much for joining, okay?
Thank you very much for inviting me here today.
All right, guys. So that's it. This is a beautiful story of Fatemeh Akbarpour, and I hope to see you guys there on Saturday for the publication roadmap. Fatemeh, have a great day. Thanks for sharing your story here today.
Thank you, you too.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.